Bonjour, mon petit chiffre, Amber here, and this year is almost done. This decade is almost done. That's wild. We are almost halfway through November, and I've been looking at my bookshelves, my TBRs, my books just lying around, and realizing that there are so many books that I still need or intended to read before this year is up. And we'll see. So I kind of wanted to sit down and share a couple of the books that I still would like to, need to, want to finish or read before the end of the year. Will I get to all of these books? Absolutely not. Will there be a book that gets in the way of at least one of these books? Yeah. But here we go. Also on this list, I'm not really including any new releases or any releases that still have to come out this year, so those are implied, like The Beautiful or Girls of Storm and Shadow or Shadows of Storm and Shadow, CVV. Those are all implied. First and foremost on this list is Wild Savage Stars by Christina Perez, which is the sequel to Sweet Black Waves. This book is a retelling of sorts, the first book of Tristan and Isolde, and this is the follow-up to that. I'm going to keep these synopses really short and sweet because I have 10 books here. I picked the first book up at BookCon last year, absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to see where this story continues. I met Christina recently. She's lovely, and I love her writing, and I'm ready for this book to destroy my life. This will probably be the next book that I read, honestly. So I need to finish reading Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I started this book, I started reading this book, was it for the reading rush? And then I couldn't get into it at the time, so I put it down because I've seen nothing but like good reviews of this book. So I'm like, maybe it's just me. I put it down to pick. I said I was going to pick it up the next month, never did. The year is almost done. This book is briefly about a kitsune. She's half kitsune, half human. She teams up with this assassin to basically stop the destruction of the world. That's a really bad summary. I'm gonna link the Goodreads info down below so you can read this for yourself. This is the Goodreads edition. This cover is gorgeous. I had a friend describe this to me as being really similar to season 3B of Teen Wolf, which is my favorite of Teen Wolf. So that in and of itself makes me want to finish reading this book. Next we have a reread. And before the year is out, I want to at least start my reread of New Moon. If you missed it, a couple months ago, back in the summer I think, I reread Twilight. There's a whole vlog of it, and I kind of started a series of rereading this series. So now I've been intending to move on to New Moon, but other things like readathons and whatnot have gotten in the way. I think I wanted to read this for the reading rush also. Anyway, it's time to move on to New Moon. Jacob comes in this time. I'm strongly Team Jacob. This and Eclipse have always been my favorites of the series. Stay tuned for the vlog. The next book that I want to read by the end of 2019 is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This book has been described as Mulan meets Project Runway. The main character is a tailor disguised as a boy. I think she has like a pair of enchanted scissors, and she is a part of like this challenge to make 3 garments for, is it the emperor or someone? It says, to save her country, a young tailor must sew 3 gowns from the laughter of the sun, the tears of the moon, and the blood of the stars. So this is my signed copy from when I met Elizabeth back when the book came out. And we know I love retellings. We know I love Mulan. And will I get to this? We'll see. The next book is one I might actually finish because it's a very short book. and it's I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. Is this upside down? No, I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. I guess it could be held that way too. By Kimberly Jones and Gilly Segal. I don't see enough people talking about this book. From what I've gathered, it's about two girls, one black and one white, who are caught up in, I think, like a riot or something. And it's basically them getting through the night. And I guess the story's told through both of their perspectives and how they perceive their surroundings. That's all I've really got. But it's definitely in the vein of like The Hate U Give and Dear Martin, and hearing both of them speak about the book and what inspired the book and the process of writing it. I really do definitely need to get to this at some point in the next couple of weeks. Okay. The next book is one that I do intend on reading before the month is out. I've been putting it off until it got a little colder, and it's definitely cold. And it's House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This book is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, I believe. Main characters, two like older sisters, her sisters are like dying off. She believes it's murder, and then her sisters are like start sneaking out to like attend balls and stuff, and yada yada. 12 Dancing Princesses. And when I received this, I believe in Crate, it just gives off a very like autumnal, like this seems like a book that you need to read when you're like snug and cozy. And it was snowing the other day, so now is the time to read this. So I think this will actually be the next book that I pick up. And then Wild Savage Stars. Next is Sorcerer of Thorns. I keep doing this. Sorcerer of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. All I know about I love this cover. This is the Crate edition. Also, how many times can I say this in one video? All I know about this one is that the main character like grows up in this, I think, enchanted library that's filled with grimoires, and then I think she's forced to team up with a sorcerer who she's been taught are like all evil, because she is either framed or accused of a crime. She's like caught up in like this conspiracy. I don't know, but it sounds really interesting. I love libraries, so I think the real reason I haven't read this yet is because I haven't heard rave reviews of the book. I know I still want to read it to form my own opinion, but I also have wanted to read her other book, An Enchantment of Ravens, forever, and I kind of want to read that before I read this, mainly because if I don't like this, I feel like I probably won't then go back to read the other book. Does that make sense? Probably not. Okay, we're almost done the list. Going back to books that'll probably destroy my life and make me cry a lot is Anger's Gift by Mark Oshiro. I met Mark a couple times. I met Mark earlier this year and finally picked up this book, got a signed copy, and I believe this is the story of, I think he's a victim of a hate crime, right? The main character, or police brutality, one of those things. That sounds so awful. And it, I think, deals with the aftermath of that and the anxiety that he deals with around that, and also like when I was talking about anger, not Anger's a Gift, I'm Not Dying With You Tonight, hearing Mark talk about the writing process and what led to writing this book and his own personal experiences, definitely put this at the top of my list, TBR list. Next is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I don't know why this book is still on my TBR. I should have read this ages ago. I should have read this directly after I read Allegedly, but that book messed me up so much I had to step away from Tiffany's stuff. I actually don't know much about this book because Tiffany Jackson is queen of the plot twist and have you thinking one thing and the other. I think this is a story where the main character's best friend kind of goes missing and no one's actually looking for her. Obviously, it's inspired by real life stories in the news about how many black girls are missing and no one's reporting on it. No one seems to be looking for them, and they just kind of are allowed to disappear. And I know there's a plot twist that I'm not going to be prepared for. I love Tiffany D. Jackson's writing. I think she's a fantastic person. and I need to read this, and then I'd like to decompress by reading Let Me Hear Rhyme. So the last book on this list, I really could have added, this list could continue forever, but the last book I'm going to talk about is Nocturna by Maya Motain. I really like this cover, and all I remember about this book is that the main character is a face shifter, and then like there's a prince that can read people's auras. That's all I remember about this book. I'd like to read it in the very near future. So like I said, this book, I could have continued this list for about another 3 hours. I have so many books that that I've just acquired and would love to read before the year's done, and I won't. And there's still some December releases coming out, so I love that for me. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know down below what some books you still need to read this year are. Also, let me know what your most anticipated December release is. Mine is obviously Children of Virtue and Vengeance, Vengeance and Virtue. Literally, this book comes out in like 2 weeks and I still don't know the title. And also Reverie by Ryan LaSala. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. All my places are down here so you can follow me, and I'll follow you back. And I'll see you very soon.